Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Wow, once again, you're welcome to this um, talk or lecture from me, om'tayo Samuel. And of course, today we'll be talking about the psychology behind an artist's thinking or thought pattern. So, as usual, my Twitter page is Twitter, at Solomon. That is SSOLOMOON. And of course, you can check me out on my Facebook page. That is om'tayo Samuel. om'tayo Samuel. And of course, the om'tayo with an apostrophe there, right there. And of course, my other Facebook page, that is Art Kraal. And of course, you can check me out on Instagram, my Art Kraal, art_Kraal. You can see it right there on the screen. My YouTube page, please. I will always beg you to subscribe because that is that is where we can really say we are really benefiting, the algorithm and the fact that we get our promotions and everything from there. And of course, my email you can always get across to me, remediate.om'tayo.samuel@gmail.com. You can see that, of course, on the screen. And of course, my mobile number, that is 090337572 and 36. And of course, before making that call, you have to put the Nigerian code, that is +234. That's the Nigerian code. And of course, no bad thing about, check me out on my Redbubble merch pages, and likewise my seller.co pages. And of course, get to just patronize and check me out on this platform. You can see them right there on the screen. Copy them out and of course help out. So today I will definitely be talking on the psychology behind an artist's thinking or thought pattern. Is honestly, before starting out this, I must confess that is a very, very broad topic because we're talking about the psychology of how people think is really deep and is really wide, and not to even try to compress all of that into the way artists think. So, but I'm going to really generalize a whole lot of things here, and I'm going to be, it might be subjective, but I just want you to have an open mind to what I'm going to be talking about here. Is all for good, and I want you to have a perspective into the mind of the mind of an artist. I'm an artist, and of course, I believe I'm speaking to artists, and of course, people that have the love of art in their mind. And why am I thinking this certain way? Why am I thinking like this? Why is my thought pattern going towards this direction? I want to wonder or ask yourself. So this is a very good lecture for you to have an understanding, an insight, an input. I won't call it input per se, but an introduction into the workings of the mind of an artist. So now let's start with who exactly is an artist. Who is an artist? Now, in my own little concise way, I would say an artist creator is any creator of beauty, convenience, and insight. So an artist, this is any creator of beauty, convenience, and insight. That is just a general definition I will give to that term, artist. Who is an artist? And of course, you know quite well that when we're talking about artists, we're not just talking about illustrators, people, painters, sculptors, and all of that. We're talking about dancers. Dancers are artists, dramatists, artists, actors, they're artists, musicians. We are all artists. We are just within the bracket of art. So, and we operate within that mindset. So, I'm going to be talking about the psychology behind the way we think. That is referring to artists per se. So now, what is an artist's thought pattern? When you talk about a thought pattern, the thought pattern of an artist, what exactly does it mean? That is the artist's thought pattern. Now, I'm going to also concise this into this. An artist's thought pattern is a recognizable channel or consciousness. It's a recognizable channel or consciousness that helps an artist, that is the person now, the professional or amateur, whoever it may be, that helps an artist to be more creative and productive in his or her works. Remember, I said earlier on that it's not just streamlined or box into the corner of illustrators, sculptors. I mean, those that practice mainstream art, but it goes as far as even musicians, singers, dancers, spoken word artists, poets, and all of that. So it says a recognizable channel or consciousness. It's a channel and it's a consciousness, something that is known, it's something that exists, it's something that is evident. So it's a recognizable channel or consciousness that helps an artist to be more creative and productive in his or her works. So, and of course, the psychology. I'm going to be really quick on this one because I have a lengthy number of the way artists think and what you out there should expect. So you are, if you are dealing with an artist, you must have a kind of perspective of the way their minds work. So number one, I'm going to say like this: they always want to create things for people to think about. Mostly, artists want to create things for you to think about. Most artists, they don't want a situation by they create something and you are quickly bored about it, or you have access to it, you examine it, and just like that, you've understood everything. No, they want you to think about it. If you think you already know everything about that particular work, you'll be shocked from another angle where other people might be seeing that same work. So they always want to create things for people to think about. Number two, they like to see the world, to view and observe things. Artists love to see the world, to view and observe things. So now, thank God for the improvement that has come into the world of IT and all of that. So you can actually see the world without even moving out of your space. So they like to see the world. It might be from the computer, it might be from maybe pictures or a kind of video reels or video shoot or something or whatever. So they like to see the world because it is from what they see they try to interpret their imagination and come up with something that at the end of the day can be termed masterpiece. There's a way somebody will see a picture, and whatever content he or she is able to bring up from that picture can interpret or can translate it into his or artwork. It might be dance, music, or whatever it is. So that is that about that. Then number three, they train their minds to get inspiration from anywhere possible. Now I just talked about they like to view the world, to observe things. So from all these things they observe, they train their minds to get inspiration from anywhere possible. They train their mind to get inspiration because the under block or the foundation of artist's work is basically from inspiration. When you get inspired, things start falling into place or falling into places. So number four, they see the world differently most times. You must just give this to them. The way you practically see the world may not really be the way they are seeing things, because they have that mind of being of a creator, and they always want to see things, even things that are already done or created, they want to see how it can be recreated. So they see the world differently from most people most times. Number five, they like better observe larger things from their smaller details and vice versa. I just hope you can really get what I'm trying to say here. So things, they observe things from the smallest details or element making up that thing, or from the larger thing broken into its elemental state. I don't know if you are really picking it out from there. So it's like seeing something that is a whole from the pieces, and also seeing that something that is whole from the pieces point of view. They see something that is they see something that is whole from the pieces. That is, oh, this particular whole thing, I'm just seeing it from the component. And also I'm looking at a set of components, it's a set of pieces of things, and I'm there synthesizing, putting them into corporate body and seeing the whole thing from that pieces. So it's a two-way thing. That's why I have to say the word vice versa. So they better observe larger things from their smaller details, and of course vice versa. Then number six, they are both futuristic and conscious of past events at the same time. Artists are futuristic. They see the future, but they never ever forget the past. They always recall to the past. They look for inspiration from the past to judge or to project themselves into the future to create something futuristic. They still have to look into the past and pick their pieces from there. So it depends on however or whatever you are saying or from the dimension you are working with. So that is basically that about that. Then number seven, they are emphatic enough with imaginations. They are emphatic enough with imagination. So artists are emphatic people because they can always put themselves in your shoes. Their imagination, their sense of imagination is very strong, so they can easily recreate that situation or condition you are and try to put themselves into it and try to recreate something from there. That is part of the psychology and of course the part of what generates inspiration for them. So number eight now, they listen to heartbeats through voices than the speech content. Now you are speaking to them, they listen to your heartbeat through your voice. What exactly is the content of your voice, the tone, the rhythm of your voice flow? That's what they listen to than even the content. I'm not saying the content of what you're saying is not important, but what I'm saying is we're talking about the psychology of artists, so they tend to listen to something you ordinarily may not put mind to. So that's why I said that for your heartbeat, that is the crust of the matter, the nucleus of the matter, the foundation, the everything of whatever you are saying. That's the heartbeat of it, your heartbeat. They listen to it through your voice, not even what you are actually saying. So that's just what I'm saying from that angle. Remember, we're talking psychology, so you have to follow this psychologically as well. So number nine, they listen to silence, just only silence, and they enjoy it. Just like almost like what I said in number eight about listening to heartbeat, and I mean hearing your heartbeat through your voice. But in this case of number nine, they listen to silence. You now begin to wonder, how does someone listen to silence? How do people listen to silence? But that's just the way of artists. They listen to silence. They listen to silence. That silence is what brings up inspiration. The silence generates a lot of ideas in their head, a lot of thoughts in their minds, and all of that. So number 10 now, they test for the odd. That is, they test for the odd, put a trial in the unusual. They always test for the odd. It's just like saying, like when we're young, we say we buy people buy their children toys, and we have some children that like, okay, I want to see what is exactly working inside this toy. Okay, this toy is a kind of motor car, and gears and all of that, working the motor and all of that. I want to see how it's operating and all of that. So that curious mind, what I said, that they test for the odd. They look for it where you are not even looking at, what you are not even thinking. From the unusual, they pick up their trial. They are always there to push. They are always there to poke. They are always there to like, okay, let me even test this. Let me try this. They are always always there to want to try something different. I won't even say new, but something really, really different. So number 11, they are pragmatic, always curious to test things. They are pragmatic, just like number 10 also. They always want to test something from the unusual. But in this number 11, we are just saying they are pragmatic. They are always curious. They want to test things, either usual or not usual. That's just what I'm saying from the angle. That number 11, they are pragmatic. They always want to test out something. They are always curious. A particular technique has been established. They want to. That technique might be okay, technique A, and you expect an artist to say, okay, let me try that technique A, but you'll be surprised that he's actually doing technique A plus or technique A minus, and he may not want to go directly on that technique A. So, and he may even want to go on technique A but on a different note on a different level. So number 12, they become introverted to ask questions sincere to them. So they ask questions that's sincere to them. They ask questions based on what they don't know or what they don't understand or what they want to find out more about. So they become introverted. They are always to themselves. They think within them and try to generate questions that will help them to understand whatever situation or whatever concept better. Number 13, they invest their time, money, and energy on what they believe in. That is it for you. Any artist will always want to invest his time, his money, and energy on what he or she believes in. That is really, really something. So, okay. Anyway, number 14, other people's view. That is expert now. We have to really put that into proper perspective. See, other people's view. But in this case, I'm referring to expert in their field. So other people's views sink in far deeper than what you expect. Now, an artist has made a particular work, and somebody is trying to appreciate the work, trying to analyze the work and all of that, and the person is probably giving negative review, and the artist has this respect for that person, for that personality as an expert. Uh, I must tell you right here that that may go really deeper than what anybody or even the person think that about what he has said. So when you are using words with artists, know exactly what you are saying, because if you are an expert, they take your word for it. They really, if you giving them wrong or that not so good review or whatever, it really sink in, and some of them may not really come out of it so well. So, and of course, I'm going to, in that regard, go to number 15. And of course, in this case, we are going to say other people's, I just talk about other people's opinion about their work or about them, but these people are experts. But in this number 15, so to say, we're talking about other people's general opinion now. That is, we're talking about the general populace that are not experts, may not count for anything. So they are always like, they don't value them, they don't, because they always have this mind that they zero of that. Okay, you don't understand them, so why are they going to bother themselves about you? So you don't understand them. So, but yeah, this someone is different from somebody they believe that you understand them, being an expert that has been in that particular field for a long period of time. But in the other case of general populace, whatever you are saying out there about them, they may not even look at it twice. They may not even consider it for once, because they believe that probably this is just a normal flying around opinion of somebody who never knew about them, or who doesn't know much about them or their work. So that is that about that. Then number 16, they can be paranoid about what they believe in. Artists can be paranoid about what they believe in. They can develop a kind of paranoid sense about what they believe. They want to, like, if it's something that needed a kind of protection, they are always there. They want to protect it at all costs, with everything they've got. So they can be paranoid about whatever they have that believe in. So that is that about that. Then number 17, and still on that, what they believe in, having a, they can, and of course, they can be dangerously careless about what they don't believe or accept. You see that? So when you're comparing that number 16 and 17 now, is in that number 16 we say they can be paranoid about what they believe in, they can be overprotective about what they believe, but in the number 17, they can be dangerously careless about what they don't believe in, or what they don't have respect, or what they don't accept. So you see that? So once artists, no matter how that thing is really, really important to you, if they don't have any iota of belief in it, they don't look at it twice. They don't look at it twice. That's just that. Then number 18, their personal ways of doing things or techniques tune every other thing that is presented to them, or any other technique that is presented to them. What I'm saying is that you have them to work with technique A or technique B, but generally they work with technique maybe D. So you will now see, by the time somebody who's personal technique is on D, you want him to carry out a particular technique on A, or A or and B, or A or C, or A or B rather. You will see the trace of that D that is that is practically instinctive with him. You see that trace of D on the A is doing, and on, of course on the B is doing. I don't know if you are picking me from there. They do whatever thing that is exposed to them based on what they are used to, based on what their technique, their primary technique has been. That's how they operate. So I mean, how will I call it now? Their personal ways of doing things, or their technique tune, they are that tunes any other thing that is being exposed to them, or any other thing that is being commissioned or set for them. So number 19, so to say, God may be secondary to reason and common sense to them. uh, I'm sorry for those that are maybe super religious about some things. Artists generally, they the number one thing to them will be common sense, basic reasoning. That what exactly is this? What exactly is behind this? If this is like this, then I believe this should be this. Just common sense. So before you start talking God with them, trying to make them okay, I believe in God and all of that. I mean, they first think of common sense. So to artists, generally speaking, God may be just secondary to common sense as far as they are concerned. And finally, number 20 here, they can be nostalgic about their artwork. They really want to give away their artworks, and especially their masterpieces. And even if they eventually want to give it out, owing to the fact that they trust you, and they know that you can always protect their works, they don't like it to be for money. They don't like it to be for money. I've known a lot of artists that when they produce work, they try to mass produce it. Their original piece, their first prototype, they want to keep it somewhere. They now make copies from there to be sold. But that original, because of the mind behind it, the inspiration behind it, the focus, the work input into that, and the aura surrounding what generate the idea in the first place, may not really want them to part with that particular work or that masterpiece. So artists generally, they know, even they don't want to give out their work. They want it stuck somewhere or preserved somewhere, like a gallery where people can always come to view them, appreciate them, and to of course see them. But for them to now want to give out the works, they will really to some extent want to, like, okay, I give this work to you to protect, in as much as I have a kind of trust in you, because I believe that you can always protect my interest in that area. So, but for them to sell, I mean, money is just not. Everybody likes to spend money, but to them, money is not just that main thing, but their work, their inspiration, that that particular artwork that is more or less like their signature is very, very primary and key to them. So that is that today about the psychology behind the artist thinking or their thought pattern. So check out all these things, go through them, put them down, so that any other time you're having a conversation or you're having a kind of interaction with any artist, you can always, like, okay, this is the way this young man or this woman thinks, and I think I can live with it, and I think we can really have a kind of understanding.